Hi guys, it's Svenja, and this is one of probably a few more Ultra videos that I'll be doing for you. So the Ultra is a little bit different than the Duo or the Luxe, and I'm going to get to all of that through a series of videos for you. I wanted to show you what happens when you do plug it in. So when you plug in the Ultra, which I'm going to be doing right now, you're probably getting a little bit of a wacko picture there. Okay, so when you plug it in, it does go right into the pressure cook setting. As you can see there, it's a flashing pressure cook there. And it doesn't go into the off screen. However, if you just wait a little longer, it will go into the off screen. And we can talk about the off screen as soon as it shows up, which should be very shortly, because when you're waiting for it, there it is. Okay, so the off screen shows you it is off. It shows you that the sound is on presently. The temperature unit is Fahrenheit and the altitude is nothing. So in this case, it is 0, which is the factory setting. You can change all of that. You can change the sound to off. You can change the temperature unit to Celsius. You can change the altitude to your altitude, either in meters or feet, whatever you most comfortable with. Now, how do you get out of this screen? It's actually super easy. You just push the dial and there it is. Now, when you are actually seeing how we're already talking about the dial is going to walk you through all of these preset functions and presets programs, which, you know, you just dial right through. And anywhere from this screen, anywhere if you want to go back to the off screen, you can just wait and it will go back to the off screen. If you do want to go ahead from anywhere in these settings and you do want to go ahead and change something in the off screen, you can either wait for it or you can get to it by pressing the dial, and I'm going to show you how that works. So I'm going to cancel out here. It's going to go back to where we had left off, with which in this case is the sterilize. But just assume I do want to change my altitude at this point. What you would do is you would be long pressing the dial up until the screen shows up. And that's the screen that will change, or where you can actually change all of that. Let's go ahead and let's do that. Right now it's offering me sound. I don't want to change anything on the sound, so I'm going to go ahead and I turn the dial down to temperature unit. Let's pretend I'm comfortable with Fahrenheit, which I really am not, but let's pretend. So I want to change the altitude though. The altitude, I'm actually very comfortable with feet, believe it or not. So let's change that to the altitude that I'm actually at. And you do that by pressing the button. Okay, so when you're pressing the button, it will highlight with that blinky the feet or the meter. I'm going to go back to feet because I'm comfortable with the feet. And I'm going to hit the button, the dial button again, and it will offer me 0. So the first, the next one that you can go to is 2,000 feet in altitude. I'm at 1650, so 2,000 feet doesn't sound too bad, doesn't sound too good. I'm used to doing the 0 from the Duo, but let's put it to the 2,000 feet. How do you do that? You hit the start button, and it is actually now set to 2,000 feet in altitude. To be sure, just to be sure, I'm going to go back into that screen and I'm going to show you that that's where it is at. You're going to have to hit the button again and say yes to feet, and it shows you there it is, 2,000. So we're good there. Now let's pretend that I'm not happy with 2,000 feet and I do want to set it back to the 0 as it was before. That's not a big deal at all. All you do is you set the whole thing back to factory settings, or you go back in and you change it back to 0. But let's pretend we want to set it back to factory settings. Maybe something was not quite right with your settings at all. So let's pretend that. How do you do that? It's super easy. You go ahead and you hit the cancel button. And you keep on pressing it. Which of course now doesn't work. So let's do that again. So you press the cancel button. Up until you hear that beep, the double beep tells you your selection was accepted and your pot is put back into factory settings, which, you know, that's what you wanted. That's great. So I guess that'll be my first video just on, you know, the absolute basics on the pot, and I will get back to you guys with another video to maybe do a water test. Wouldn't that be exciting? All right, you guys have a good night or good morning, depending on where you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.